So, welcome back to Race Day and Real Talks.
So there's a lot that's happened since our last episode. Like F175, there's been a lot of testing.
Yeah.
Um,
We've had some Formula E,
Formula E.
Elms news, Carlos as a director.
Okay, so F175 Live, massive event. Thousands of people there. A lot happened.
A lot happened. There was celebs. Jack Whitehall was hosting. There was jokes, teams, liveries, all the above.
Yeah, I think Jack was a great host.
I love it.
People say there's obviously like a lot of controversy around it. His comments, stuff like that. Things where he's a comedian. He's gonna say things like that.
He's gonna say jokes, and he knows Formula One.
Yeah,
like I think he's been to a few races, and he's had like some connections to it.
Probably.
But I think he was the perfect person because obviously he's not seen as much around. Like he's not a massive one. Do you remember during lockdown when it was like Ramesh Ranganathan or everywhere?
Yeah,
that's kind of like he hasn't really had that. I think him hosting it, considering he's got the connection to Formula One, he knows, and he like said that he was actually quite funny.
Yeah,
I was watching it. I was like, the first joke was like Georgia Max. I was like, oh, shoot that right at him.
Yeah, there was a few comments that were a bit, but it was funny.
The getting lost in Charles's eyes.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like that because obviously there's been a lot of people saying if a female were to say that, they would get a lot of hate for it.
No, literally.
But
that's why the females didn't say it.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be funny, and it was funny.
I was laughing.
Yeah.
I was laughing at it. And then we had like the celebrities, which is like Gordon Ramsay, and it's all about swearing.
I think
it's so real.
Yeah, obviously their intentions were to ask him that.
Yeah.
They knew he was going to give an answer around what he did.
Yeah.
He's
a swearer. It's just how it goes.
And like with the fact that they are high performance athletes, they're going to swear.
Yeah.
That's
like
just heat of the
they're
moment.
pushing themselves to the limit.
Exactly.
As he said. They're just gonna do it. Like they're going to swear. Exactly. It's part of it.
The stress is crazy. Like,
and then having to think about not swearing is just painful.
You have to put yourself in such a tough position where all the pressure's on you. That's gonna happen. Like, I don't know what they expect.
No, literally. And then we have the teams and how they got into it.
Yeah.
How they started it. I feel like they had about 10 minutes worth.
Yeah, I think they had 7 minutes each.
Yeah, something like that.
Some teams did it really well. I feel like others could have.
I've got Alpine.
Done something. Right.
I was watching it live, and I was like, "How long is this going to last for?" Like genuinely, I was like, "I don't know what this is on about." He's just playing like it's DJing. I don't even know who this DJ is. They could have gotten Pete Tong.
He was he made the F1 theme tune.
Right, so I do know who that is. But yeah, like I was a bit confused. I was like, "Why did you do that?" Whereas like I quite liked Red Bull's one, even though like Max and Liam didn't talk.
Yeah, but I also felt like they were really uncomfortable with the dancers behind them.
Yeah,
I was kind of confused as to what was going on. But yeah,
I think McLaren did it really well, but they should have had Tate McRae. Everyone's been saying this.
Yeah,
Tate McRae. She has a whole orange vibe, sports car. Like she could be singing that, and then like she hinted. Everyone thought that she was hinting towards Lando being in a music video.
Yeah,
because the whole orange vibes, McLaren, like all that. I think it would have just been the perfect place for her to go.
Yeah, although I did like what they did with obviously the old cars, the heritage cars, putting them up. I think that was a good way of doing it.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they had all the teams.
I loved Aston Martins, the way they did
the fact that they were like in the audience as well. I saw a video of someone who was in the audience, and I was like, oh my god, I wish I was there. But yeah, I think I quite liked it because it was like them making their way.
Yeah.
And then Alonso turns up with helmet on.
Yeah, I think it was really good the way they did it.
It was smart.
Yeah. And then you've got obviously Sauber. I liked Sauber's. Yeah, and then Williams. I don't remember what they did.
No, they weren't very in your mind.
No, they just had a lot of talking, which I liked because you got to hear the drivers' opinions about it.
I feel like they should have done that with Red Bull. They should have let Max and Liam speak, even though it's controversial. Like the fact that people booed Max.
Yeah, I don't think that's okay.
Booing like a driver.
It's so like.
Even though he beat Lewis Hamilton, like.
It was
very controversial.
Yeah.
And then imagine like having that and him how he grew up. That's gonna affect him. Like
what other teams? Haas. This was quite good.
What they do, I can't remember. It didn't really stick in my brain very well. There was a couple of them that didn't stick. Like I think the ones that stuck was like Alpine because of how random it was. Aston Martin because of how good it was.
Stuck.
Yeah. Whereas the other ones I just forgot about.
I mean VCarb. Obviously, they did their whole name, which I think was good. It was creative, but it's also they could potentially change that name in the next few years.
Yeah, they could have They had the guy with them who was trying to get people to pronounce it, and I like that they used the public for that.
Yeah.
Like, they actually went out and, like, talked to people and all that, which was quite cool.
Mercedes did their pit stop.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot about that.
Which I think is a good way of showing the car, with obviously that.
Ferrari.
Ferrari's was quite good, their video.
Yeah, but then nothing really happened. Like, everyone was just clapping for Lewis, that's all I remember.
Yeah, it was very focused on Lewis.
And I didn't really like that, because I think poor Charles.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Because, like, they're going to have a big thing this year. Because it's, like, Golden Boy versus 7-time world champion.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a big... Like, Ferrari's not good with their strategies already.
No.
And now they've got this.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was silly or what's going to happen.
I don't know. But on the topic of F1 75 Live, liveries, I feel like we should rank the liveries maybe, or rate them out of 10. I don't know which you want to do.
Surprisingly, I liked Red Bull's, even though it's basic and it's the same. I like the same.
Yeah, I think it's a good way of marketing yourself, because you've kept it the same. People will still be able to recognise who you are.
Sauber's was decent.
I liked Sauber's.
Aston Martin.
I
didn't like V-Carb as much.
Apparently it's an old Red Bull livery.
Oh, I can see that.
I like the fact they've gone white this year.
Yeah,
but I think it's very similar.
Straying too much from Red Bull.
Yeah, it's like very similar to the Red Bull car, with like the Red Bull logo on the engine and stuff.
Yeah. I think they need to remember that they are a part of Red Bull. Like, they're going very white, but like, they are a sister team.
Yeah, they are.
So, like, as much as they want to be by themselves, they're not going to be. Like, they like physically can't be.
No.
So I don't know what's gonna happen there.
Williams.
They were decent.
That was quite a nice livery. It was basic. I think it's darker than last season.
I think so too.
Which I quite like. And obviously their new sponsor looks quite good on the rear wing.
I agree. What about the Haas?
I love the Haas with all the white and stuff. I think it looks so good. And
literally.
Can't
think of anything. Ferrari.
Ferrari's was a darker red.
Yeah, darker
Still
red,
not
but it was
a fan of the
still...
HP logo.
No.
But it was nice.
McLaren? It was the same!
McLaren's is nice. I like their livery.
Yeah. I think McLaren, the orange, the black, it was.
Yeah, I think, it's very nice. And obviously their race suits are
similar.
I mean, everyone...
I kind of wish they kept their testing race suit.
So, Carlos, GPDA, he's now director, because Vettel's not.
Yeah, I think that'll be really good.
Yeah, I think he's so dedicated to the sport that he wants to get involved in that kind of way.
And I think him and George will work well together, giving out what they want the drivers to say. Because I feel like otherwise the drivers get no voice. Like with the swearing, I feel like they need to put a post out about the swearing to say.
I know there's been a meeting between them and rally drivers, because a rally driver got fined €10,000 for swearing in an interview, which I understand interviews, they're broadcast, there'll be children watching, but it's when they're in the car that I don't think...
And they bleep it out anyway.
Exactly, like, trying to get it stopped in the car doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because then if they take away the bleeping, then if they do slip up, what are they going to do? Fine them. Fine them, take them away from racing.
But
Yeah. And then we'll go quickly onto the F1 movie.
Yeah.
So they've got it coming out in summer 2025.
Yeah, so this June or July, one of the two.
June or July.
I think it's going to be good, but we've obviously seen a lot of what happens in the film from it being...
I mean, I was there when they were filming it for Silverstone.
Yeah.
So I was there on the Saturday of 2022. So long. And they were filming one of their scenes where they were racing each other, obviously at Silverstone. And then... I mean, we've seen quite a bit other filming.
Yeah, there's been a lot of podium clips.
Yeah.
And things like that. And
when they're
with
on
the trailers, you've
and
seen
then,
so much of the film, it's almost like you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, as we've seen from the trailer, there may be a female relationship with it. There is, like, almost 100% a relationship with a female engineer.
Which is a bit controversial this season with Esteban having a female race engineer.
And it's a big step back for females.
Yeah, it could really... We're finally getting more into the sport, more engaged with it, and getting the recognition, and now this is exactly the stereotype
that we don't want.
Yeah, and the stereotype of how men think of women in the sport anyway.
Right, literally. And I think it's gonna, although it may not impact the men as much and how they're thinking about it, like a lot of the men that I've seen, or all the boys that I've seen looking about it, have been like, oh, it looks so cool, all that, but then all the women are like, we've seen the relationship, like this is gonna be bad for us.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it's going to go very well.
No.
There's also, I've heard a theory that Max is going to be a villain in it.
Yeah, which
I'm like,
it's not the best thing to do.
I love my Max. I think, it's a step back for him as well. I think they're making it very specific to British male drivers.
Yeah, which I understand because of like the backstory of Lewis stuff.
Yeah,
and obviously Lewis is involved with it so much.
But at the same time,
other people aren't going to enjoy that as much that aren't British.
There's going to be, I think it's going to be a lot of controversy. And, like, who's winning, if there's going to be a title fight between the two.
100%, yeah.
The way they were driving in that, it was very much they were against each other. I don't know. I think it's going to be very debatable.
Yeah, it'll either be really good or really bad.
Yeah, either going to love it or either going to hate it. It's going to be a bit debatable. I don't know.
And obviously at the moment we've got, in the next couple of days, F1 testing,
yes,
and at the moment
F2
testing.
Tracks, cars back on track.
Yeah, which is exciting.
I'm so excited. I have waited. I've survived the winter. We've survived the winter break.
Done it.
Finally.
So F2 testing, if we start on that, because that's going on at the moment.
Currently, this moment.
It's going on right now. It's very split.
There's a lot of different.
And I get their testing strategies and stuff and fuel loads and whatever, but obviously Victor Martin's P1 yesterday, as well as Arvid Lindblad.
Yeah.
And then this morning Gabriele Mini, and we don't know who.
We don't know who's going to win yet for the second lot. I think it's very split. No one knows what's going to happen. I think it's going to be it's going to be similar to Formula 1. It's going to be a very different view because they've lost. Have they lost 5 people?
They've lost a lot of drivers. A lot of drivers have progressed up from F3 this season.
As either actual drivers, reserve drivers.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to affect them a lot and their teams. Because obviously F2 is a feeder into F1.
Exactly.
And that's what they're expecting to have. So expecting to lose people a lot of the time, especially with all the younger ones coming in now.
And like lack of funding is a big thing in F2.
Like with Paul Aaron, where he had a problem. If he didn't get into F1, I don't think he would have continued, which I think would have been a big loss.
No.
So the F1 testing is on.
It starts tomorrow.
So
Wednesday the 25th.
Why don't I read Monday?
26th. Haas have been testing this week because I've seen pictures of Ollie in the car.
Yeah, they've had the testing out. Yeah. Lando's at Bahrain now, as we saw in the video.
Everyone's in Bahrain currently.
They're just waiting.
Ready for testing. And this is obviously the first bit of seeing how competitive the cars will be, how fast they are, their issues, things like this.
Yeah.
I think it'll be quite similar to last season. I don't think there's been too many changes to the cars. Alpine are keeping the same chassis as last season to save money for the 2026 season.
Well, yeah, the 2026
which is quite smart because obviously Pierre caused no damage himself.
Yeah.
Last season, so
quite surprised.
The cars, it's pretty good, and they were quite strong at the end of last season.
Yeah, I think that's smart, but it could. I feel like testing's very much you're going to see who the top person is.
Yeah.
Especially with Ferrari having Lewis and Charles, it could be a big debate, and people could start complaining from now if Charles was preferred or if Lewis was preferred.
Yeah. But obviously we won't see exactly until Australia. Yeah, but it's a good way to get a sense for how the cars are doing.
Talking about Australia, with all the races and the tracks, I mean, we've got sprint races this season. Yeah. We've got early starts, especially the first one.
Yeah, for us here at least.
For England, Melbourne is going to be early.
I hope Oscar wins. Seeing him win at his home race would be... However, if anyone but Max wins, obviously they break his streak of being top of the championship.
Yeah.
So that's quite
interesting.
It could
be, I feel like first race is going to be a big one. Yeah. It's going to be, people are messing, I mean, Melbourne's known as quite a hard track already.
It's a difficult track and you've got 5 rookies. So
it could end badly.
Yeah.
Or 5 could be out. So it could be very mixed. It could either be everyone's in, everyone's out, people are no one knows what's going on. It's going to be a very big debate with that one.
Yeah, and obviously, talking about tracks, alternating tracks, I think that's starting next season, maybe with Zandvoort being off the calendar, but potentially coming back. And then the possibility of Hockenheim coming back onto the calendar.
It's going to be a debatable one. I think a lot of people are going to miss, obviously, the ones that they love.
Yeah, and it's like Spa's rumoured to be like that, which is kind of crazy because it's such a iconic. Historic and iconic track. Yeah. So there's quite a different
There's a lot of mixed opinions.
There is, yeah.
I think it could be very on and off about certain things. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen.
No.
We don't know who's going to go off. We don't know what's going to, especially with the FAA having so many decisions right now and changing everything. It could easily, a lot of races could be off the grid and a lot of new ones could be put on. I mean, there's been a chat about a South Africa one for the past 5 years.
Or another Asian race.
Yeah, which could be interesting.
So obviously people have said somewhere like Thailand and places like that. And
I think give Alex a home race.
Exactly. And there's obviously 3 American races on the calendar. I get they're trying to grow American support, but
I think someone who used to live there is too much.
I don't think 3 is I get you want them in that part of the world, but there's also one in Canada, so it's kind of why do you need 3 in America?
They don't know. The Americas has a lot. I think you could remove at least 1 or 2 and give them to China, somewhere in Africa.
Or keep the races like Spa on the calendar all the time.
I think they can have, I mean, they've added Vegas. Vegas has been their new one.
Vegas it's a good one, but also it's not that good because it feels it feels like it's all about the money, and it's very much aimed at content creators in a way.
Oh yeah.
And people obviously over 21, because in America you can't do anything there until you're 21. So it's going to be quite an interesting one for the drivers like Ollie and Kimmy.
Yeah, it's going to be
very old enough.
Yeah, no.
So I don't know what they'll do, but yeah.
It will be it's very based on just influencers, content creators, people like celebrities. I think Vegas, in my mind, is all about the money.
Yeah,
it's very
I don't think they'd lose much by taking it off the calendar.
No offense to them. They've just got it. And even at Silverstone in 2022, when they were adding it, it was still all over the 2022 signs.
Yeah.
They were go to Las Vegas, and I'm like, dude, you're at Silverstone. This is one of the most iconic ones.
Yeah.
And you've got a new one coming in, and you guys want to change it all up.
Exactly.
But it's gonna be debatable.
Mm. Do we want to touch on some other series like Elms?
Yeah. So Elms, there's Formula E,
British touring cars. Yeah. So if we start with Elms, obviously the biggest news in Elms recently is Logan Sargent no longer driving in Elms with IDEC.
Very unfortunate.
Which is but I'm assuming it will lead to some bigger opportunities, maybe in IndyCar, Formula E, WEC, things like that. Because obviously he wants to drive 24 hours in Le Mans.
Yeah.
And he might not get to do that in the IDEX year Elms.
I think it's going to be, I mean, I'm not a massive, I don't follow Elms as much, but because I love Logan, as you do too. I think having him go from racing completely suddenly, after a year, this time last year he was in Formula 1.
Junior career was incredible.
It was crazy good.
It was so good to then not continue. I don't think he'd do that. I mean, he might, but I don't think it's the right decision.
No, I think he needs to continue or change or get to somewhere where he feels comfortable and he's not going to get dropped within a second. That was some big news getting that. I don't think many people expected it. I definitely didn't. But yeah.
Yeah, and then Formula E.
Yeah.
In Jeddah, we had rookie free practices.
Which
was good. Nice to see the rookies get a chance to drive the cars. And then obviously there was 2 races that weekend. Well, I don't know if that's obvious, but there was 2 races that weekend, so that was good. I quite enjoyed Formula E. It's a nice alternative to F1.
Sound. It's very funny, but I love the sound. It sounds really fun.
Yeah.
But they've got, going back to Formula 1 quickly, they've got all of the, so obviously they've got the new, well not obviously, but they've got the new rule in where they have to have 2 sessions for a rookie
per driver.
Which means that every driver except for Kimmy, Jack,
Isaac
and Gabrielle have to give up their seat for a free practice at some point.
For 2 practices. Yeah.
Which I think is good. They need to encourage more rookies to come in and start racing.
It's a good opportunity for them.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that Liam and Ollie don't count as that, I think that's fair enough.
Yeah, it's because they've done more than 3 races, so yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of fair.
And with rookies getting opportunities, so Deegan Fairclough, who won British F4, got the opportunity to drive the Aston Martin as a token for winning, which I think is really good because as they progress up, they've got that experience. They know what they're working their way up to.
They know what to expect.
Yeah,
and they know what's coming. Hopefully, I mean, it's a bit debatable because obviously they want people to keep driving, they want the teams to keep having the drivers, but they still need rookies to come up.
Exactly.
Even though they've got, I mean, for the past 5 years they've had the similar set of people.
Yeah.
Go back to 2019 till last season, they've had quite a similar set. Not many people have come through. So now they've got these 5 rookies and everyone's moving. I feel like this is going to be a new time for the rookies to come in and kind of not take over for the older ones, but just kind of bring in theirs.
Yeah, and also British touring cars. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I'm not sure. They re-signed a new team. Well, not a new team. They bought a team back into it, onto the grid, and I'm pretty sure they're driving Honda Civics. I'm not sure, but that's quite exciting because there's another team on the grid, and so it's just even more. And I think it attracts more people, seeing more cars driving around. And they're like, actually, this is quite good to watch.
Yeah. So, it will definitely attract more audiences with another team. Yeah, because obviously they've got a new team, which means they'll attract more, they'll have more drivers available.
Exactly, yeah.
It will progress a lot more. It's when you add a new team, it adds more opportunity, it adds more chance, which will be good, which they need.
And for example, Toyota Gazoo Racing they've signed 2 brand new drivers for the season, which is exciting because you get to see new talent and just different driving.
Yes, so on to IndyCar.
Yes, so the season starts this weekend, St. Petersburg. Very excited for that.
Yeah. Expectations?
Not too sure what to expect.
No, it's going to be a bit...
I know in testing, Pato O'Ward was top of the timings.
Yeah, which is good for McLaren.
Yeah, it's very good for McLaren. Just depends how they are throughout the season, because I'm pretty sure it's a street circuit, not an oval, if I'm right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's street.
So that'll be interesting to see, and I have no idea who will win that. Obviously, the last couple of years has been Alex Palau. Yeah. I'm not sure if that's how you say his name.
It's going to be very up and down. I think all the motorsport this season is going to be, no one knows what's going to happen.
No, I'm very excited.
Formula 1, 2, 3, IndyCar, BCC, Elms, all of the above will be carnage. Yeah. No one knows what's going to happen this season until the first race.
Exactly.
And further, like even after the first race, no one knows what's going to happen.
There could be title fights that last to the final race.
No, literally.
So yeah.
But yeah.
So do we want to touch on marketing and social media?
Yes. So obviously with marketing and social media, it's everywhere. You went to McLaren in Woking, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I went to the shopping centre.
How was it? What was it like?
It was really good. Nice to see the cars in person, and my family got to do a practice pit stop. The car was not moving, but it's still a great opportunity. Yeah. That was good. There was also a sim there and reaction time. That was really fun. Really nice to get the opportunity to do that, because obviously things like that you can do at Goodwood and stuff, but you don't really get the opportunity outside without paying and stuff.
I'm sure there was a lot less people there than if it was at
Goodwood.
It
was quite quiet, actually. It was nice.
I don't think it wasn't very advertised. It wasn't known to many. Like, I didn't find out about it unless it was through you. But that's part of kind of the marketing and social media.
They need to do events like this. Like Williams doing their fan zones is really inclusive for the fans.
I think they need to do more in the whole of either England or Europe or the world, whatever. They need to go out and advertise their cars.
Exactly.
Otherwise, no one's going to go and see them. Like, the only time that we're advertising them, I mean, we have chosen one of the most expensive sports to love. The only time people are going to see them is on the track. Exactly. And a lot of the time, people can't get that close to the cars. No, I mean, we're lucky enough to go to Goodwood and have that, where we can see the cars and get up close with them. Exactly, but a lot of people don't have that, and I think they need to start doing that more. Even if it's in London, they advertise it day of. Yeah. Or if they just don't advertise it and just have it there so that people walking by can see it.
Or even make posts on social media, because that's such a big way of marketing.
Social media is massive now. Yeah. I mean, I think they are utilising it quite a lot.
Especially Aston Martin with their content creators. I know we spoke about that last episode, but it's just...
I mean, there's something like 5 or 6 girls who have got a connection to motorsport they've added as their content creators, which I think is so good, because having the diversity and multiple different ones, rather than just like hiring 1 or 2, that's not going to give you as much opportunity, creative chance, which I think can help Aston Martin so much.
Exactly, yeah. And obviously they're sponsored with TikTok and stuff, so it's a perfect way to market.
Exactly.
Obviously there's been some controversy about this recently with it almost taking over the sport, and obviously there's a lot of it in the paddock, which drivers, obviously they're not massive fans of it, but it's the best way to get it out to an audience and people that want to see it and attracting new fans. So I think in that sense it's good that they have it around them at all times, because then it just broadens and widens like the amount of people watching.
Yeah, I totally agree.
We've got some exciting news. We've reached out to some drivers. We've got a couple of interviews lined up.
We're going to surprise you.
Yeah, not 100% sure who yet, but we know we've got some interviews that will be coming in the future.
It's going to be good because it's a variety of different, not just drivers. There might be some engineers,
some content creators,
creators. We've got a good mix.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, we're very excited. We can't wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is for our future. But yeah. I think that's everything.
I think we're done.
Well,
I think that pretty much sums up this episode.
Yeah. Well, see you next time.
Thank you for listening or watching.